Jim, one of the methods of propagation that we use here at Greenleaf is tissue culture. This is one of the rhododendron varieties that we use. They adapt very well to this method of propagation, and it's one of the reasons that we do propagate the rhododendrons in this manner. Several of the varieties that we're testing right now are done this way because they are new varieties. The propagation wood is in short supply, and you can get large numbers of plants propagated through the tissue culture method. The normal tissue culture system is very expensive and very time consuming. So when we have a new variety that comes up to the numbers that we need, we will shift that over to other methods of propagation, our normal methods, which we use in asexual propagation, the sticking of terminal cuttings.
Now the tissue culture is expensive. I imagine it's also, you have to be very careful about keeping things sterile and keeping them from becoming contaminated.
That's right. The methods that are used are very precise. It takes a lot of expertise in being able to make your transfers into the different media cultures, being completely sterile in making these transfers, keeping all of your instruments clean and precise. We use a separate transfer room in doing this, and being able to autoclave all of our instruments and using transfer hood when we make any of the transfers between the jars.
So this is expensive, but it's worth it in certain circumstances. Now you're talking about asexual propagation. That's cuttings?
Yes, that is taking the terminal tip cutting from a actively growing plant.
And you have a room where you do cuttings?
Yes, we do.
Why don't we go look at that now?
Okay.
Now you said cuttings, taking cuttings are your major method of propagating. How major? What proportion of the plants you propagate are propagated by cuttings?
Approximately 90% of the cuttings that the plants that we produce here on Greenleaf Nursery are propagated from asexual propagation. The other 10% are made up of grafts, divisions, or seedlings.
How many cuttings do you take when you place them in the sun?
During an entire year, we will produce right at 10 million cuttings per year here on the nursery.
Okay. What time of year do you take cuttings?
Okay, our juniper cuttings are taken during the dormant season off of the mother plants as soon as they go dormant in the early winter. Usually in December, we will start these cuttings and try to be finished by mid-March. They are stuck directly in ground beds, rooted early in the spring, grown throughout the entire summer or growing season, and then overwintered in that same greenhouse ground bed until about February the 15th, at which time they will be bare rooted into the containers out in the field.
Do you keep these sheared back?
Yes, we do, Jim. We shear, depending upon the variety and the rate of growth, anywhere from 2 to 5 times throughout that 1 year growing cycle in the propagation area to get a short bushy liner that will fill that container once it's planted in the field.
Do you take all your cuttings in the winter?
No. All of the broadleaf and our flowering and deciduous shrub cuttings are taken during the summer months when the mother plants are actively growing.
So these are here?
Yes, it is. At that time, we will go in and take a terminal tip cutting. This happens to be taken off of the plants in the field. They are individually taken, stripped, and cut to size. This particular group has 25 in each bundle. A rubber band is placed around the bundle. Then these are brought down, put on a crisper bench until we have time to stick them directly into either a ground bed or a direct stick liner tray.
How long do they stay in the ground bed?
They will stay through this growing season, and if direct stuck into a ground bed, they will be dug this fall, potted in a 3-inch peat pot, put back in that ground bed and then planted next spring after they begin growing.
Now, what's direct sticking of the cuttings? Is that what
Okay.
you're talking about here?
Yes, this is a sample of miniature roses. These are ready to be planted. We have containers filled and ready in the field to receive these newly rooted cuttings. They were direct stuck in this 38 cavity tray. We can take that directly to the field as a unit, plant out of it, and not have to individually pot these varieties.
Now, these cuttings right here were taken last year?
Yes, these cuttings are a year old. They were taken in August last year. These will be planted with our summer sales varieties, and this will be an early spring sales item as a miniature rose in a 1-gallon container.
Now, you're mentioning seedlings. Yeah, it's a small portion of plants that you have, but do you grow your seedlings here?
No, we have another propagation facility at our Fort Gibson operation, and we use ground beds where we plant our seed. In close row beds, we are able to go in the dormant period and undercut these seedlings, lift them out, grade them, and store them in our cooler facilities that we have here. They will grow a full year in this ground bed operation before they are put in the containers.
You also mentioned grafting. I noticed some ladies in the other room. They look kind of busy there. What are they doing in there? Is that grafting?
Yes, this is one of our summer grafting programs where we're using some selected sweet gum varieties, placing them on some seedling sweet gum understocks and trying to change over the tops. You bet. This is our sweet gum chip budding operation. We are using the chip budding method to propagate 3 selected varieties. These varieties are selected for their outstanding fall color. They are Festival, Palo Alto, and Burgundy, and 1 seedless sweet gum variety.
Seedless sweet.
Yes, this is one that we think will catch on real well. Hopefully in the near future we will be able to offer a totally seedless sweet gum.
Is this the only type of tree that you chip bud?
At this present time, it is. We have tried the tea budding on the sweet gum, but we seem to have a lot better success ratio with the chip budding method. We do tea bud all of our flowering pear varieties, our locust, and our ash varieties, but this is done at our Fort Gibson facility over in the ground bed area.
Now, is all of your grafting done in the summertime?
No, all of our upright junipers are grafted during the winter months on head side understock. They're done here in this room, and they are forced out in the greenhouse and done totally during the winter. Our apple varieties are bench grafted also during the winter, and the rest of it then is summer budded.
I'm curious,
Fort Gibson.
when would someone be able to buy one of these trees that they're chip budding now? When is that tree going to be saleable and ready as an improved tree?
Okay, the understock that you see as a top right now will be cut back to a single bud that they are inserting next spring. We will force that bud for 1 full year in the 1 gallon. Then that 1 gallon will be shifted into a 5 gallon and grown 2 full years as a 5. So that would be 3 years from this time before this tree will become saleable.
So it, kind of on average, or what's the range from seedling or cutting to when there's a saleable plant that you can ship out of the nursery?
The earliest that we can ship a plant would be 1 full year in the propagation of a broadleaf 1-year variety. It would take 1 full year in propagation and 1 full year in the container. So that plant would be 2 years old at the time it was sold.
What's the longest cycle?
The longest cycle would be our upright junipers, and they take 2 years in propagation and 2 years in the 1 gallon container, 2 years in the 5 gallon container. So they would be 6 years old.
Let's take a look out into the field and see how they're grown out in the field.